Hello, my name is Mark John Sternal, and you're watching Easy Blues Guitar DVD. In this video, we're going to start out with simple one-finger blues guitar and gradually progress through basic chords and riffs, blues rhythms, and fast solos. Let's take a 6-string open E note and learn how to adjust our amp settings for premium blues guitar tone. The controls on this amp feature 2 channels. In most cases, the first channel is a clean guitar sound. Channel 2 is usually a distorted guitar sound. For this channel, the more gain you use, the heavier the guitar tone will be. This amp features a mid-gain frequency, which we will set at 12 o'clock. The level is the same as volume. Next, we have the EQ or equalizer controlling the low, mid, and high frequencies. Let's put these all at 12 o'clock, which means they are flat, not giving or taking away from the tone. In blues, it is typical to lower the bass a little and slightly boost the mids and highs. Here's the open E, and here's an open E chord. If your amp and guitar combination aren't giving you the tone you desire, you can insert a distortion pedal between your guitar and your amp. Here I'm using my amp set to the clean channel with the blues EQ setting that we just learned. For the distortion, I'm using a Carl Martin Plexitone. I have the boost set just before 10 o'clock. The level control is the same as volume, and you can adjust it to your liking. 11 o'clock would be ideal. Tone is set to 11 o'clock. High gain and crunch are dialed in at 9 o'clock. The use of a distortion pedal allows a lot more tonal possibilities, and it also allows us to easily switch from a clean tone to a dirty rhythm tone. The select button allows me to choose between 2 tones, high gain and crunch. And by engaging the boost, I have a slightly louder lead guitar tone. Next in line, I'm adding a Carl Martin echo tone delay effect. The echo control is set to 11 o'clock, feedback to 1 o'clock, tone is straight up, and time is set to about 2:30. To further enhance your blues guitar sound, you can use a graphic EQ to really dial in your tone. Here is a Carl Martin 3-band parametric preamp. The top settings of controls have level, which control the volume, then bass, mid, and treble. Just like our blues amp setting, I'm cutting the bass to 11 o'clock, middle up to 1 o'clock, and treble between 12 and 1. The bottom set of controls allow us to really fine-tune these frequencies. Starting with the first control to shape the bass, we're dialing it to 1 o'clock. To shape the mids, turn the second control to 2 o'clock. For the highs, we'll cut the last control back halfway between 11 and 12. With the use of these 3 pedals, we are given a very wide variety of blues guitar tones. For a limited time, you could win these effects and more. Visit www.mjspublications.com for details. The key of E dominates guitar and blues music, so let's learn a traditional blues riff in the key of E. This riff starts out on the 5th string open A note. No frets, no fingers. Followed by the 6th string 3rd fret. This is a G note that we play with our index finger, and we end on the 6th string open E. Using the alternate picking technique, I start with a downstroke on the open A, upstroke on G, and downstroke on E. For the rhythm, I'm counting 1 and a 2, 3, 4. 1 and a 2, 3, 4. Play A for the 1 count, hold for and, G for the count, and E for counts 2, 3, 4. 1 and a 2, 3, 4. Now let's practice this E rhythm at a slow tempo of 50 beats per minute or 50 BPM. If we move everything down 1 string, we now have an A rhythm, starting with the 4th string open D note, to the 5th string 3rd fret C, and on the 5th string open A. Here's an exercise combining the A and E rhythms. Blues music often repeats between E and A rhythms. When it's time for a change-up, we have a turnaround that starts with a B rhythm. Here, we start with our index finger on the 4th string 2nd fret. This is a higher octave E note. Next is the 4th string open D, and end on the 5th string 2nd fret B note. The turnaround is often followed by the A rhythm, and can end on a double E rhythm. An alternative turnaround has us playing the same B, A, and E rhythm. It ends with a walk-up on the 5th string open A, 1st fret B flat, to end on the 2nd fret B. We've learned several parts that can be used in blues music. Let's put them all together and play our first blues song. If this is too slow for you, visit the practice section located in the main menu. There you will find 3 tempo speeds for every song we learn. The sheet music will change on the screen along with the parts. You can also view the full arrangement in the bonus section of this video. Blues music relies heavily on the pentatonic scale. Since we're playing in the key of E, let's learn the E minor pentatonic scale. Now we'll use 2 fingers to play blues guitar. The E minor pentatonic scale starts on the 6th string open to the 3rd fret played with the middle finger. Next is the 5th string open to the 2nd fret with the index finger. Then the 4th string open to the 2nd fret with the index finger. The notes are named E, G, A, B, D, and a higher octave E note. Each note is held for 2 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the octave E rings out for another 4 beats. In blues music, the scale can be considered the foundation for a song. Each note will complement the next, and it can be used as a melody line for the vocal or for an instrument like the lead guitar. Each scale note can also be used in a song as a chord. Let's take our blues rhythm and add scale notes to create power chords. For the E rhythm, we'll start out on the open 5th string A. By adding the 4th string 2nd fret, we now have an A5 power chord. While holding this chord, strike the 5th and 4th strings together. Next, we are going to play a single G note with the middle finger on the 6th string 3rd fret and end on an E5 power chord. That's a 6th string open with the 5th string 2nd fret. 1 and a 2, 3, 4. 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 Now let's play the E minor pentatonic scale a little faster. Let each note ring out for one beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. We're also going to add the 3rd string notes, first open, then 2nd fret with the index finger. The 3rd string open is a higher octave G note, and the 3rd string 2nd fret is a higher octave A note. The 3rd string scale notes allow us to add our A rhythm, starting with the 4th string open, D. By adding the 3rd string 2nd fret, we have a D5 power chord. Next is a 5th string 3rd fret C note by itself, and end on the open A5 power chord. Let's combine the A5 and E5 rhythms. We are going to introduce the string bend technique to our fretted scale notes. We're going to start off with an easy bend that only requires minimal effort. For each fretted note, keep pressure on the string while you pull towards the center of the fretboard. You can do this by bending your finger inward, or you can rotate your wrist. Either way, you need to keep pressure on the string, holding it against the fretboard as you bend. A half step on a guitar is equal to 1 fret, so a half step bend would require a lot more finger strength. This is called a quarter step bend or a note smear because you are not required to bend it up to the next note or next fret. Here we will apply the note smear or quarter bend to our blues rhythm. And we'll also mute the end chord. To do this, you have a choice of laying your fretboard hand over the strings to silence them, or you could use your picking hand to silence the strings. We are also using the repeat symbol for the first time, signaling us to repeat the previous measure. Let's complete our open E pentatonic scale by adding the second and first string notes. Starting on the 6th string, we have the open, then 3rd fret with the middle finger. Strings 5, 4, and 3 are open 2 with the index finger. The 2nd string is open, 3rd fret with the middle finger. 1st string is open, 3rd fret with the middle finger. The 2nd string open is a higher octave B note. 3rd fret is D. 1st string open is a higher octave E note. And the 3rd fret gives us another G note. Now we are going to combine scale notes and chords to create rhythm and lead. The first half of our E rhythm is the same. For the lead, we use part of our E minor pentatonic scale, starting on the 5th string open, which is an A note, and walk up to E. A, B, D, E. The timing is a little faster for the lead because we're playing 8th notes. So the count is 1 and 2 and. When we put the two parts together, we have 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Move everything down for the A rhythm, and for the A lead, start the scale on the 4th string D and walk up to A. That's D, E, G, A. Back to the E rhythm. For the turnaround, play the same B rhythm. And for the lead, we'll start on the 2nd string open B and walk up to G. B, D, E, G. Back to the E rhythm. But for the lead, we'll walk up from the open 6th string low E to the B note. E, G, A, B. Notice how each lead guitar part includes a matching note for each rhythm part. We start with an E rhythm, and for the lead, we walk up to an E. For A, we walk up to an A note. For B, we turn the song around by first walking down to B. Then for the lead, we start on a B and walk up to other notes in the same scale. Quick E rhythm and a walk up to B. The whole progression allows us to make use of the full E minor pentatonic scale. Add vibrato to give your fretted notes more life. While holding a fretted note, rotate your wrist. You can use slow vibrato or fast vibrato. The key is to keep pressure on the note that you're holding. 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's take all of the two-finger blues sections that we've learned and combine them to make our second blues song. We'll start out with the basic parts and build up to the rhythm and lead with vibrato. Remember, you can access the full sheet music arrangement to each song in the bonus stills section. Also, each song is recorded at slow, medium, and fast speeds. If the version I play for you here is too slow, visit the practice section in the main menu and work up to the medium and fast tempo. Every guitar chord has different variations. We've been using power chords like the E5 chord. Here's an easy two-finger E chord, starting with the first string open, second string open, third string first fret with your index finger or first finger, and fourth string second fret with your second or middle finger. While holding this chord, put your pick above the fourth string and strum down, hitting strings 4, 3, 2, and 1. For a slightly different effect, you can strum up, being sure not to strike the fifth string. Next, we have a new scale variation, starting with the fourth string, second fret E. Coming out of our new E chord, we can start the scale with our middle finger to the third string open, second fret with the middle finger, then we slide the note up to the fourth fret. The slide technique is achieved by holding a note and sliding it up or down the fretboard, while keeping pressure applied to the string. So we started on the E, 3rd string open, 2nd, slide to 4. This puts the index finger in place to play the 2nd string 3rd fret. Notice this shape is identical to the fingering for the E chord. From there we play the 1st string open, which is E, then end on the 3rd fret. You could keep your middle finger in place on the 3rd string for this. Scale notes complement each other, so if they ring out together, it is acceptable, especially in blues guitar music. Next, we play the scale descending, starting with the 1st string 3, open, 2nd string 3rd fret, to the 3rd string 4, slide down to 2, open, then end on the 4th string 2nd fret E. The notes of the scale variation are the same as the E minor pentatonic that we already learned. E, G, A, B, D, E, G. It's just a different way to play it that is very common in blues guitar. For our new E rhythm, we will start out with the 2-finger E chord. I've kept things simple as far as the strumming pattern is concerned. I'll only be strumming once per measure, but feel free to expand on this. For example, you could strum every 2 beats, 1, 2, 3, 4. You could strum using quarter notes for each beat, 1, 2, 3, 4. Eighth notes dividing each beat into 2 pulses, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, or even combinations, 1, 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2 and 3, 4. Again, I'm using the chord as a canvas, letting it ring out for a full measure. Then I use scale notes to paint a picture. We're starting on E and walking up to D with eighth notes, 1 and 2 and 3, 4. For the A rhythm, we are learning a new 2-finger A chord. This variation is called an A7 chord. The 1st string is open, 2nd string 2nd fret with your 2nd finger, 3rd string is open, 4th string 2nd fret with your 1st finger. For the lead guitar, play E, G, A, slide up to B, and slide back down to A. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. For the turnaround, we are learning a 2-finger B7 chord. This is very similar to the A7, but the fingering is moved down 1 string. Hold the 1st string 2nd fret with your 2nd finger, 2nd string is open, and the 3rd string 2nd fret is played with your 1st finger. In my experience, this fingering is easiest for beginner guitarists. You could switch the fingers if you like, but I've found that beginner players usually have a harder time manipulating their fingers to hold this chord or to change chords this way. Since this is easy blues guitar, I thought I would show you what I felt was the easiest. But the choice is yours. However you hold the B7, when you play the lead section, you need to start with your middle finger on the 3rd string 2nd fret. Slide it up to B, play G on the 2nd string 3rd fret, 1st string open E, then back to G on the 2nd string 3rd fret. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. From B, we drop down to the A rhythm, then double up on E. But with a slight variation from the last one. Here, we quickly slide up to the 3rd string 4th fret, followed by the 2nd string 3rd fret, back to the 3rd string 2nd, open, then end on the 4th string 2nd fret E note. Here's the turnaround with the tempo. Now let's put the whole song together. A very important blues guitar technique is the hammer-on. Pick a note and sound the next note by hammering your finger to the desired fret. For this exercise, only pick the open scale notes and hammer the fretted notes. You do not need to pick the hammer-on notes. If you take the 2-finger E chord we just learned, you can move your middle finger up 1 string to create an E7 chord. Here we are strumming all 6 strings. Strings 1 and 2 are open. 3rd string, 1st fret, 1st finger. 4th string is now open. 5th string is the 2nd fret, 2nd finger. And the 6th string is open. For the lead, start with the 6th string open, hammer to 3, 5th string open, hammer to 2, and end on the 4th string open. For the A rhythm, we're adding the 5th string open to our A7 chord. The lead starts on the 5th string open A, hammer to 2, 4th string open, hammer to 2, and ends on the 3rd string open. The turnaround has us play the same B7. Quickly slide the middle finger up to the 3rd string 4, to the 2nd string 3, 1st string open, to the 2nd string open, and hammer to 3. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Back to the A rhythm. Then double up on E. With a slight variation for the end. Quickly slide up to the 3rd string 4, followed by the 2nd string 3, back to the 3rd string 4, slide down to 2, open, then end on the 4th string 2nd fret E note. The opposite of a hammer-on is a pull-off. Start with a fretted note and pull your finger away from the fretboard to sound a lower note. If you just lift your finger, the 2nd note will not sound. You have to pull the finger away from the string at an angle to get the lower note to sound. For this variation of our rhythm, we are adding a hammer pull to the last note of the lead. After the E7, play the 6th string open, hammer to 3, 5th string open, hammer to 2. The hammer pull is on the 4th string. Open, hammer, pull. Only pick the first note, then hammer on, and pull off to sound the rest. The count for the lead is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. The A rhythm is very similar. A7, 5th string open, hammer to 2, 4th string open, hammer to 2, hammer pull on the 3rd string, open, 2, open. For the turnaround, I'm going to change things up a bit. You can continue to play the 2-finger B7, but if you're ready for a challenge, here's a slightly different B7 with a very distinct blues sound. Start with your 1st finger on the 4th string 1st fret, 2nd finger on the 5th string 2nd fret, and 3rd finger on the 3rd string 2nd fret. Only strum strings 5, 4, and 3. For the lead, quickly slide the middle finger up to the 3rd string 4, to the 2nd string 3, then a hammer pull on the 1st string, open, 3, open, to 2nd string 3, and 3rd string 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Repeat the A rhythm. Then E rhythm. And E rhythm again, but for the lead, slide up to the 3rd string 4, followed by the 2nd string 3, back to the 3rd string 4, slide down to 2, pull to open, hammer to 2, pull to open, and on the 4th string, 2nd fret E note. So far, we've been playing open position scales. Let's move up to the 5th string, 7th fret. Play this with your ring finger or your 3rd finger. The next note is on the 4th string, 5th fret, played with the index finger. Up to the 7th fret with the ring, then slide that up to the 9th fret. And on the 3rd string, 7 with the index finger, followed by the 9th fret with the ring finger. call this the $1 million scale because it has made countless guitar players extremely wealthy. These notes are the same: E, G, A, B, D, E. But the way it is played and positioned allow the blues to flow out effortlessly. This scale position alone can be used for a full night of blues music. You can create a variety of guitar solos by introducing the tricks that we've already learned. The hammer-on, the pull-off, the quarter-step bend, vibrato, hammer pulls, pull hammers, and any combination you could think of. Once you have this scale memorized, improvising or making up solos will become second nature to you. Always remember, the nature of the pentatonic scale is that each note will complement the next. There is no wrong combination. You could play the notes in order, out of order, or in patterns. A very simple way to make your solos interesting is to use the question and answer technique. The root note is E. Then we have G, A, B, D, and a higher octave E root note. Listen to what happens when you play a combination of scale notes but avoid ending on the root note. That was G that we ended on. Let's play it again and end on A. Again and end on B. Since we avoid ending on the root note, it makes the listener want to hear it even more. This is considered a question phrase. To answer the question, play a group of scale notes, but this time end on the root note. Again, a question phrase avoids the root note. And the answer phrase ends on the root note. We are using an E scale, so E is the root note. You can build up tension by using multiple question phrases. You can double up on an answer. Or you can alternate between question and answer phrases. Let's use the scale to write some lead guitar phrases. For the first phrase, we'll play E, G, A, B, back to A, and end on G. That's fret 7, 5, 7, 9, back to 7, then 5. Next, we'll play a similar phrase and end on A. 4th string, 7th fret. For the third phrase, we'll go up to D, then back to B. D is on the 3rd string 7, B is on the 4th string 9. And for the last one, hold on D. Here's a rhythm combining these lead phrases with a blues chord progression. A rhythm, back to E, for the turnaround, use the new B7 chord. First finger on the 4th string 1st fret, second finger on the 5th string 2nd fret, and third finger on the 3rd string 2nd fret. Try playing each chord, then switch to the lead riff in time with me. If this is too difficult for you, just play the lead parts. After you get comfortable with them, add the chords.